Deputies in Port Orange, Florida, have arrested an 11-year-old girl accused of faking a kidnapping. Investigators say this girl reported that her friend had been abducted by an armed man driving a white van. They say she even provided text updates as she told deputies she was following them on the interstate. But when police tracked down the cell phone, they found the girl at home. And she told police she thought the prank would be funny, saying that she got the idea from YouTube. This case is troubling, as was this one, after an Alabama district attorney discussed potential charges against Carlee Russell for a hoax kidnapping that she has now admitted to lying to. She was not kidnapped when she says she saw a toddler on the side of the road and tried to help and then disappeared for 2 days. So 2 big hoaxes in the headlines, now leading a lot of people to question how this impacts real investigations. Joining me now to talk more about these cases, NewsNation national security contributor and former CIA officer and FBI special agent Tracy Walder. I don't think we can understate the frustration from law enforcement and just the public in general by false reporting cases when we have so many serious cases we're trying to track down leads on.
Well, it's nice to see you, Marni, and you really hit the nail on the head with that statement right there. You know, this is highly problematic for actually several reasons, and one reason we're not talking about a whole lot. You know, if we look at these false kidnapping cases, particularly the case of Sherry Papini a few years back, you know, that case cost taxpayers $230,000 in terms of tracking her down and finding her. Additionally, she's looking at 20 plus an additional 5 years in prison, not to mention the manpower and deterrence that took away with the police following this. But another thing is that this can actually become deadly. There's something called swatting, where you make false 911 calls to get emergency responders to come to the wrong house, basically. We've actually had 2 people die as a result of that. And I understand that this is not exactly what that is, but this can really devolve quickly and really injure someone.
And this teen, I mean, it's wrong no matter how old you are, and I would argue that even a child knows right and wrong, but we've got to work with them about when you call 911. But she said she thought it would be funny, that she saw it on YouTube. Is it a trend among teens that we're seeing happen more often? I mean, is it an age gap issue?
I think yes and no. Look, I'm a mom of a young one, and I do think we have to have these conversations in regards to obviously internet safety itself, but when it is and isn't appropriate to do these types of things and to engage with law enforcement. Certainly, I'm not giving this young lady a pass. However, developmentally, her brain is going to be quite different than someone who is 25 and understanding, parsing out right from wrong. And when we are seeing this happen a lot and it being covered on social media, which is not a bad thing necessarily, because we need to locate someone if they have been the victim of a kidnapping, and the attention that they're receiving, we do need to have these conversations with young ones, particularly preteens and adolescents, to really explain to them when the right and wrong time is to engage law enforcement.
Yeah, and the other thing is that's so concerning as we cover, so many missing person cases and kidnappings here at NewsNation is law enforcement's already stretched thin trying to locate people. I mean, what does this do to resources when they have to refocus on a new case and end up chasing something that's a complete falsity?
Right. So in a case like this one, and if, for example, in Florida, they were probably utilizing, her cell phone data real time, right, to be able to track her, because this is a minor. I would expect them to take that incredibly seriously, and this moved to the top of their list. Meanwhile, there could have been someone who had been legitimately kidnapped, and they may have needed that cell phone tracking equipment to be able to do that with someone else who was legitimately the victim of a crime. And so really that person then now falls to the bottom of the list, who may have been a legitimate victim, and that is hugely problematic. Local law enforcement departments especially are really struggling with resources, and they are stretched incredibly thin. And so this is really utilizing them in a very, very negative way and is not deterring crime.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.